Artsy Club. We had a lot of technical difficulties getting going today, and I think we are finally all set. So I'm really excited to be here with you today, and we are going to work on an art project that has to do with shape. So the first thing that you're going to need are all your shapes. So you can use anything from your crayon box to containers you find around the house, a soup can, the oatmeal lid. Those are all great circles. I can even use my ruler or look around and see if you have any like cardboard. This is called chipboard. This is from the back of a sketch pad that I had, or even like what is the word for that? Like heavy duty construction paper. What's the one that you get for school? That's like cardstock. That's the word, cardstock. Okay, look for cardstock, and you can draw and make shapes out of it. So I made a rectangle and a square, and a triangle. So I have all these different shapes, and we're going to talk about these as we go. But for now, I am going to transition so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've set up my art, and I'm just using an 8x12, and you can use any size paper, or you can just use computer paper if you have that, or you can use construction paper. And let's see if we can get in here a little bit better. And I'm going to go ahead and just zoom into our art. But you can see I have some markers ready, a pencil, a permanent black marker. I happen to be using the Sharpie brand, but you can use any permanent, as long as it says permanent marker, and I have my crayons ready to go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to just zoomed into our art so you can see that nice and close while we do this part. I'm going to start with my shapes, and I'm going to go with a circle, and I can place it. There's a couple of rules for doing this art project. I can place it anywhere on my paper, but at some point I want to touch every edge of my paper. And the reason for this is that I want my art to spread across my whole artwork. Did you know that your paper has feelings? So your paper has feelings. So we don't want our paper to feel sad because it's naked over here and then it has just a little bit over here. The whole paper says, hey, use me too. Okay, so you want your whole paper to have visual interest, not just one little area of your paper. We don't want to waste, right? So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I put my circle going off the edge, or at least touching. So this is touching, this is going off the edge of my paper. And now you can use a pencil so that you can erase and try again, or you can go directly with your Sharpie. So if you do it this way, you're going to then want to come back with your Sharpie and trace. Or if you are feeling lucky, if you feel skilled, and I like to do it for videos and demonstrations, I just go ahead and do my Sharpie. But I always recommended to my students for them to do it in pencil first and then come back. So I did a circle. And now I'm going to want to find another shape. Let me get into all my shapes. And I'm going to do what we call overlapping. So I am going to put this shape over the other shape. So I had right here my rectangles going on top of, and I'm not trying to make an overlap effect. That's a whole other lesson. I am literally just placing one object on top of another. I'm not trying to create depth. For those of you who are a little more advanced, I'm not trying to make something pop out and look like I'm not trying to look like this is closer to the viewer than this. I'm not. it's just about overlapping literally in this two-dimensional space. I am trying to have it just bam, right there. All right, so now that I've got that, I'm gonna do some more shapes. Let's see, I'm going to touch this edge of my paper. I'm gonna take my triangle and I'm going to have it going off the edge of my paper. So if you're a really little artist, you're in 2nd grade or lower, I recommend that you do this art project with a friend, okay? Because it can be hard to hold your shapes down and trace them. So if we have a friend, that could be mom or dad or brother, sister, anybody that's with you that can hold that shape down while you're tracing, that can be really helpful. And it's always nice to help each other out. All right, so now I have this overlapping. Here's my rule number 2. Remember how I said I want to touch each edge of my paper? I also want to make sure that I don't overlap and overlap. That sounds really weird, Mrs. Johnson. Yeah, I don't want to have a shape on top of a shape. I can only overlap in one area once. So instead of going here again, I'm going to go ahead and overlap this triangle somewhere. I think I like it over here. Okay. So, and your shapes can be diagonal. It doesn't have to follow any particular placement other than our rules of touching each edge once and overlapping only in one area at one time. All right, so let's see. I need something over here and something up there. I'm gonna go ahead, maybe put my circle over here. And I don't know why I like my circles going over the edge. It just looks fun, I guess. And you notice I went over that twice. Sometimes you get a little bloopy in your trace. And, you know, bloopies, you gotta fix those. So, let's see. Oh, I wonder if I can overlap more than one object at one time. That would be fun. So maybe I'll do this and have my triangle overlapping my circle, my triangle, and my rectangle all at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and trace that. And let's see what we end up with. Ooh, all right. So now I have, let's scoot that up. There we go. So now I have my circle, my triangle, and my rectangle all traced, right? At the same time, or all overlapped, excuse me, at the same time. So now I'm noticing that my art is kind of right heavy, and I want to have a little bit of something going on over here. Let's see, I've used my triangle twice. I have 2 circles. I have 1 rectangle and 1 square. So maybe I will use my square or my rectangle again. So I'm going to, let's imagine maybe something like this. Actually, that might work. That could be cool. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and trace the edges of my rectangle, letting those run right off that edge of the paper. So now I have made sure that I have touched each side at least once. Touch the bottom here, the right here, the top here, and now this side. And I'm going to, and you know what? It almost looks like a square, almost. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my square into a diamond. Now there's a couple different ways that we can do this project. We can color it with crayons. We can color it with marker. You could even watercolor if you really wanted to, but I think it looks nice and crisp with a solid color. Okay. All right, ta-da! Okay, now I've done something on every edge. I've already done my Sharpie, so I'm all set with that. And we're good to go. Now, I do want to talk about, if you are one of my younger friends, okay, I highly recommend crayons. Crayons are the easiest to do. And you are going to go ahead and color in every space out of your whole art project. So if I were to color, I'm going to color this area one color, and this area a new color, and this area a new color, and even my whole background, all of this background space, that's considered our negative space, that's negative, all of that would be one color, and I'm just going to color the whole thing in. But the rule is that each area has to be a different color. So this makes it fun and easy for our younger friends that that are going to maybe not want to worry about the color theory yet. We're just doing it for fun. And it's okay to do art just for fun. Of course, I love everybody to learn as we go, and that's an awesome aspect of art, is that there's so much to know and learn about it. But sometimes we just make art just for art's sake. We just want to relax. And did you know that making art is actually equal to taking time to meditate? So if you were to be calm and listen to music, and that actually has physical and mental benefits to our body and our minds, doing art has the same effect. If we're being calm and mindful and relaxed, art has the same effect on our body, and it's super beneficial for our health. So if you want to have a no stress project, I just put in the art here. Let's take a look. There we go. Okay, so for my littles that just want to have fun, you are going to color in every area. This is all of our negative background space. It's all the same color, and I almost didn't finish my project here. I must have been in a hurry. So you're just going to color, color, color. Now when I'm coloring, especially with crayons, it can be really easy to scribble scrabble. And scribble scrabble is like when we do our art and we're just kind of going all over and we have a lot of white space. I go in a row. I try to make my coloring nice and neat. That's called good craftsmanship. So say craftsmanship. Craftsmanship means to do your art nice and neat, to do it to the best of your ability. A craftsman was somebody that was really good at their job. So whether they laid bricks or they worked with wood, they would do it to the very best of their ability, and the better that they got at it, the nicer and neater they made their brick house or they made that table, the better craftsmanship they had, and the more they could charge for their skills. So if you want to be an awesome artist, you are going to try to do it to your best ability and start to get nice and neat. And then someday, if you maybe choose to do an art field as a job, then you're going to be able to charge more because your projects are primo. They're the best, right? They look the best because you take your time and care to make them look the best. All right, so I did it all the way. I've got it all colored in. And then if I was to say that's my art project, I'm done. And that's awesome. But I promised you guys some color theory. So now color theory is just what it sounds like. Boom. Okay, so bless you. So that is my family in the background if you ever hear a noise. So we know we have our rainbow colors, okay? So we have red, orange, and yellow, green, blue, and purple, okay? So these are our basic colors. And if I rearrange them, I can start to talk about them in a different way. If I were to take red, yellow, and blue, I would call those my primary colors. So primary, oh, Mrs. Johnson, you're still on the other scene. Okay, so red, yellow, and blue, these are my primary colors, and pri means first, one, okay? And so primary means that these are the first colors. I have to have these colors, particularly in paint, to be able to make the other colors. So if I don't have red and yellow and blue, I can't make my other colors, which are the second colors. They are called the secondary colors, and those are that green, purple, and orange. And depending on how I mix the primaries, I will get a secondary. So what I said, primary means one. So if I take a number one color plus a number one color, I will equal two. Two is second, right? I will equal a second color, a secondary color. Okay, so for example, if I took red as my primary color and then yellow as my primary color, what second color, what secondary color am I going to make from mixing those two colors together? And if you said orange, you got it. Okay, so red and yellow make orange. So that is the second color that comes from mixing these two first colors. Okay. Oh, and guys, before I forget, because I will forget because Mrs. Johnson's forgetful with 4 children. So if you haven't yet, go check out the primary color rap. You might recognize the singer. It is a song that I made a long time ago when I was teaching. It was called the primary color rap, and then I followed it up with the secondary color rap. It will really help you to remember and memorize your primary and secondary colors, okay? So now I have, let's say red again, and this time I'm going to mix it with blue. What second color, what secondary color am I gonna make after I mix my red and my blue together? I am going to make purple. Excellent job, guys. So purple is my secondary color. And then last but not least, I'm gonna take away that red and I'm gonna put in yellow. And now yellow plus blue makes green. Okay, so if I know all of these things, I know my primaries and I know my secondaries, I'm gonna go ahead and have some fun on this project. So, Mrs. Johnson, your camera ran out of power. Oh, the horror. Well, we will do this again next week, guys. I am so sorry. I'm going to take this video down and we will try again next week. But I'm so glad that you came. Oh, increase the volume. Oh. Oh, man. Thank you for letting me know. I don't even know if you're still with me right now. This has been the day. I just had the hardest time to get this project together. Well, to get my cameras to work. It was not working. We were having an awful time. So, tell you what, guys, I will redo this lesson again next Saturday. I promise. What a bummer. I was not planning on camera failure. So sad. And so disappointing that my volume was too low for you. I didn't know. You know what? I might end up doing like some in-ears I'm gonna work on this. And next Saturday, I am planning on going live at 11 Eastern. I promise I'm gonna do this right. Oh man, but I'm sorry. You know, that's life. As artists, we need to learn to adapt. So it is what it is today. Not my favorite, not my favorite art lesson I've ever done. Man, that was rough. Okay, but we'll work on it, and I'm gonna do it again. I promise, I promise, I promise. And I will be really looking forward. Hey, let's transition to this. I am really looking forward to you joining me next week, Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern. We are gonna try to make these cameras work the right way, and I'm gonna try to get a mic, and then that will solve our problem, I hope, on the volume. So sorry that the volume was so low, and then my camera died, but it was a morning. We were having issues with all of our technology, but it's a learning experience, and I'm getting there. I'm getting there, and maybe I'll have an assistant next time to help with changing the scenes. We'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. Again, I am Mrs. Johnson, and this is the Artsy Fartsy Club. So next week, bring all your stuffs, and we will do this project again, and we'll do it all the way to the end. If nobody's told you this today, I love you, and I hope that until we meet again, you are absolutely artastic.